Hi everybody again. I just thought I'd do another video tonight. I had the feeling today to talk about angels. I know most people out there believe in some way or some form of angels, and I guess I'd just sort of like to expand a little bit about them, the angelic influences around right now, how we can call directly to them, and how we can use them to assist us, absolutely. So the first thing I guess that I'll kind of introduce and start is that as a baby we all arrived with our angelic guides all around us. We have our guides that we've chosen before we actually took this incarnation and every other incarnation. So we have a certain set of guides that are specific to the lessons that we've asked to learn, the lessons that we will be learning, and the colour rays that we will be learning those lessons upon. And that's not necessarily always just the chakra colours. It can be other rays that are also part of the 5 secret rays of the heart. So coming in, as I said, we have our certain guides, and those guides can change as well throughout our lifetime, and we will have them move in and out according to our needs and our highest good. So they don't always stay forever. We will have some that have walked with us many, many lifetimes, and they will come again. And I apologise if there's green in my glasses, but I'm not quite sure what that's about. But I have this amazing role, and I have for quite a few years now, where I've been very privileged to energetically engage and bring down little souls through the electric and magnetic fields surrounding the earth in preparation for physical birth. It's truly magnificent, and what I do know and what I see always is there is always one specific angel that carries your soul down to the edge of the magnetic fields, where the soul then is discharged. What I've been beautifully shown, and what I work with some of the mums that I do work with, and I'll be doing one next week with a lovely lady. They're all different, obviously, but there is a stream of light that is engaged between the soul and the earthly mother's womb space. So the angelic guide carries that soul, and it's usually always on this beautiful blue ray, which again, blue is not just the throat chakra. When we're talking in the higher senses, blue is the chakra of the God ray will, the first ray, will, divine will, and these little souls come down and are journeyed along this magnificent ray, which again is not only divine will but their will as well to come into this physical incarnation. So there's that angelic guide first and foremost, who I would probably say is what we would term the guardian angel, and though that term, if we cannot lock into that as one, I feel it's one of many, because again we're multi-dimensional, so we've kind of got to keep stretching our hearts and our minds around this. It's not always one-dimensional and just one angel. They work in teams, and they work as many through one vibration, one signature sound or tone. So again, let's sort of stretch ourselves beyond what we think angels are. So when we arrive here, you know, we have many options, and we've got many physical people obviously around us. But again, in spirit, you are surrounded by many, 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 many beings, entities of light. And if you've ever looked at the little baby, any little baby, but particularly now, they're obviously more alert. But even my kids, you know, when they were tiny and I would look at them, they would look straight past me, or they will look straight past you. And babies will sort of look around you and smile, and it's as though they are seeing, and indeed they are. They're seeing still, because they haven't had the disconnection or the veil of forgetfulness kick in yet. The full closure of memory, that they still see these lights, these beings, these entities, the sounds. They hear it, they're telepathic, they're far more multidimensional as a baby, and then that gradually decreases, obviously, into the third dimensional physicality as we know it, which is now fourth dimensional. So we're all fourth dimensional now on varying degrees. So with that, we grow up. We've always had our guides around us. We've always had our angels around us. But for most people, they don't realise that. That's okay. Now, because we are in free will, and remember that's why we're here, angels will never intercede. They will never interfere. They will never step in. Now, that will only ever change if and when something is absolutely not in your highest divine purpose, will, plan. Now, it's pretty rare that happens, but they can. And they can then step in either physical, or they can step in and do their job in the metaphysical by alerting, by bringing other souls, however it is and however it pans out, is how they work. So there's many stories I'm sure you've heard of miraculous things happening to people, people that, maybe well dying on the side of a road, and then this miraculous thing happens of someone appearing or someone turning up, or, I've heard a lovely story of a friend I used to know who's now passed over, but, many, many years ago she had an acute heart attack and a major intersection in Sydney, and she was in cardiac arrest basically at the scene. And she has no memory of this. Actually, she might have had the memory just before she went out, I think. But someone did just turn up out of the blue and stayed with her, called the ambulances, did everything, and apparently turned up to the hospital to check on her, but then was never seen again. And so again, she always said that was my angel that got me to hospital and that saved me. So I'm sure there's many stories out there that you've heard of as well. But apart from that, what I want to kind of focus on tonight, I guess, is how we can utilise them on a daily basis, because we don't want to get to those moments where we need the miracles as such like that. But I want to kind of get you to start thinking about miracles slightly differently also, because a miracle, we kind of have this old programming that is something, beyond earthly, and you'd be lucky if you get one in your lifetime, or they're absolutely God heaven sent, or it's usually got to be big. Miracles simply are a change in perception. Now, what we've also got to keep remembering from here on is that we are in charge of our life. We are directly connected to our higher self, so we are running the show at the highest level. So whatever's happening here, we're directing from a higher level of our multidimensionality. So let's get that aligned today, because we're it. Okay, so in knowing that, how can we use our chemical skills, our true belief of power, our mind, our abilities to make manifest that what we want? So it can be as big as you want, and it can be as simple as you want. And there's one sentence I love to say, it takes no more effort to dream big or to think big than to think small or dream small. So, the power that be, the source, God, whatever name you want to give it, again, it doesn't matter. But they don't judge you, Again, religion, dogma, and our old trainings sort of, I know for Catholics, it was always, you don't ask for this, and you don't ask for that, and you don't ask for money, and you can't ask for this, and, just be asked for one small thing and that'll do. Let's just throw that all in the bin, okay? Throw it out, because we are being asked and called upon to dream and think big. We can, we have the availability, we are in the current energies that are saying, it's here, it's yours, go for it. We are in accelerated energetic times. They are continuing to increase. Let's utilize them, okay? The only block to anything that you want in any way, be it angelic forces, whatever name you call it, your manifestation purposes, your abundance levels, whatever, the only block is you and me, okay? So we have to really start to get on top of our thinking with what we're saying, what we're thinking, and what we ultimately are believing, okay, way back here. Because we can say lots, But if we're not believing what we're saying, it's what we believe that's going out for the manifestation. So with that, I guess I kind of want to give you a couple of examples how it's certainly worked for me. And again, when you're in flow, so to speak, with your higher self, and your higher self is giving you the guidance and the direction, it will ultimately and always deliver to you everything that is going to expand you, that is going to put you even further onto your true heart path, your divine plan. It will always supply you with the people, the funds, the networking, the goods, the services, the geography of the area, wherever it is. You will always be shown this, and it will be effortless when you are in true heart flow. Okay? If things are coming with obstacles, if they're hard to climb, if there's struggle or you're not making way through, stop. First thing is stop, because you're not listening, you're not in the heart flow, and the angels may well, or whoever you've asked for your assistance, may well be operating and delivering with you, but if you're stuck in your head about the how, the when, the who, the what, then nothing will truly flow. So to truly work with the angels, you have to surrender. Now therein lies one of the major problems and obstacles, because most of us think we surrender, most of us simply just resign without surrender. And to truly surrender means we have nothing attached. We have no thought, we have no expectation, we have nothing attached to the outcome or the delivery or how it's going to happen or when. So that's pretty big. I know a lot of people go, yeah, I do that, yeah. Well, if it isn't happening and it's not coming to you, then there's a part of that piece that you're not in alignment with. That's it, simple as. Okay, no one's blocking you from it, no one's withholding anything from you. You are sabotaging you by something back here that you're believing or thinking and putting out there. So years ago, my biggest realization of surrender was back in 2009. This was the biggest one that I can recall, and it was a huge teacher. Where I was still at home and I had a little one. She was only she was 4. 3 going on 4 at that time, not quite 4. And I had my first sort of aha moment with a CD that appeared before me. And this CD caught my attention. There was something about it. There was definitely something about the music that made my heart sing. And I thought, who is this? So I researched who it was. He was in America. That was all great. And I forgot about it. I ordered one of the CDs. I listened to it and just got on with life. At that stage, I was working in a shop. And in that shop, there happened to be a flyer that I was shown of this particular guy that made these CDs. And I thought, oh, that's funny. No. I thought, oh, there he is again. Okay, that's good. And it was about a sound intensive course in America. And I thought, in those days, this is well before 2012, and our financial circumstances and our family circumstances, it was actually a flyer about doing this sound intensive course in Colorado. And I've never been to America. And I didn't have an active passport actually by then. And I looked at it and went, oh, well, forget that, because I can't afford it, B, I'm not going, and that's the end of that. Didn't think about it. So as I sort of continued my journey, still at home doing my thing, and I wasn't working like I do now at home, it was nagging me. I would go to bed at night, I would think about it, I would have dreams about it, I would wake up and I heard spirit quite a bit back then, and I would hear them basically saying, what are you going to do, what are you going to do? And it was me fighting all the way, no I'm not, no don't be silly, no I can't, it's impossible, that's ridiculous, my husband's not going to let me do that because I've got kids and he's working and da-da-da. I've got a father I was still looking after as well. He's unwell. So it continued. Anyway, it got to the point where someone else handed me a flyer, or wherever I looked, it's that synchronicity. This is your higher self. Now, when we talk the higher self, this is really important that I want you all to know too here now. Your higher self is actually the We're talking when we start to work with the 8th chakra and moving up towards the higher levels into the true higher causal self. At the level of the 8th chakra, you have what is your divine solar angel waiting, walking, working with you. Okay? Your solar angel. Please call on them. They are wondrous, they are powerful, and they are waiting to be reconnected and remembered and actioned with you. Okay? So a lot of the times your first port of call that you are really being actioned and pushed by, or you're getting this whole synchronistic flow through, is from the solar angel. Right? Now, it may well even be that the solar angel is the one that comes down with you. I don't know that. I haven't been told that, so I'm not putting that out. Possibly, of course. So anyway, at this point, I remember having this internal fight with myself and resistance about doing this trip. So cutting to the chase, one day I remember waking up one morning, I hardly slept, I was exhausted, I could feel my heart jumping out of my chest about this. And I remember throwing, as I've often done, the ultimatum up to Spirit, saying, okay, well, if you want me to go, then you make it all happen. You do it all. I'm doing nothing. I've got nothing. So if you really want me there, then you just make it all happen easily and you throw it at me and I don't have to basically lift a finger. Now back then I actually meant I'm in fear, I don't want to do this, and so here's my ultimatum that I know that's not going to happen and that'll be really good. Now I can just completely forget about it because I've said all that. Ha ha ha. What a joke. Anyway. So what happened next was I was booking a flight for my dad to go to Sydney at that point in time. So I went to, and I'm not joking from here on, I went to the flight centre. Normally I do it online, but it was this message of go to the flight centre, go to the flight centre. So I did in town, and I did his ticket, and that was fine. And then again, how the higher selves, the angels, work through other people, and how these souls present on your path. Okay, the souls are working with the angels in all ways in coming across our paths to assist us as we are to others. So again, I'm here, and he actually said to me, I'll never forget it, so is there anything else that you would like, or how can I help you? And I said, oh no, nothing. And I could hear this thing in my head and in my being going, I get this ticket, sort this out. And I was fighting it, going, no, nothing, no, I'm fine, thank you, thank you. And he said, are you sure there's nothing that I can help you with? And I thought, it was like this overwhelming from within, and I just went, oh, okay, price me a ticket to Colorado. And he said, oh, sure. So off he did. And he went, in the end he said, well, aren't you lucky? And I said, I don't know, what do you mean? And he said, how does 1,200 and, let's say 80, I think it was around that price, 1,280 return sound to you? And I thought, well, LA, Sydney, that's pretty good. I said, yeah, that sounds okay. I said, so that's to LA. I said, but I've got to get to Denver, Colorado as well, and then I've got to get a bus. And he said, no. He said, that's 6 flights all up from Sydney, LA, Salt Lake, Denver, and all the way back for $1,280. And then he said, what are you doing? And so I told him. And he said, now listen, I'm not kidding. This is how he spoke to me. Now listen, you need to seriously go away and think about this. And you need to book this ticket as soon as possible. It's not going to last, but it's here now and I will hold it for you. But you really need to sort this out and then get back to me as soon as you can. And it was almost like I was being told. I just remember standing there going, okay, right. And I went outside and I sat with my dad. And he was like, what the hell are you doing? And I said, and he was one person, truthfully, that I probably wouldn't have even said anything to or asked, because Dad at that stage was a very conditional sort of person with his money, and it was very tight, and if he gave, it was, well, you know, you give back and how much change do I get? And I just said, I told him, put it all out. And he said, I'm going to buy you that ticket. And I just went, what? Oh my God. So with that, I thought, okay, I'll just let that be. And I said, well, I can't pay you back for a long time, Dad. And he said, I don't want payment. Just take it, done. Just do this. You need to go. So then I rang my husband and I thought, well, he'll be the one that says you can't go. No, it's not going to happen. So I said to him, blah, blah, blah. I told him the whole truth. Always say the truth. And he said, well, if you get the kids organised and you can manage it, then go. I thought, this is ridiculous. So it was just literally all effortlessly falling into place. And I hadn't even really asked for the help. In fact, I was on the other side. But then the greatest thing was this passport, because I only had X number of weeks to do everything and get over there. Everywhere I went, from organising with the people in America, nothing was a hassle. Normally they wouldn't do this, but they would for me. Either delay funds, delay deposits, whatever it was, or they would cancel if I couldn't get my passport, because that was the problem. This was the funniest part though. I put my passport in, it went in, and I had no more than 3 weeks, I think I had, that I had to get the passport back and be organised to get the tickets to go. So close to that 3rd week, right on the time where I needed it, I remember then asking, going, well, if you want me to go, then you're going to have to do everything in your power to get this passport in my hands by, say, this was Monday, by this Friday, because that's it, I have to have it or I'm just not going, and that's that. And see, this every time I've been saying this, I'm surrendering, and I really meant it. I didn't care, because I just didn't care. And anyway, by the Wednesday, nothing had arrived, and I remember my husband again raising fear, going, well, you know, what if you can't get it, da-da-da. And I thought, oh, gee, and I was lining up to that, and I went, hang on a minute, no, can't do that, pull that. And I thought, I'll ring them. So I rang the passport office, and I said, look, I put this in a few weeks ago. When do you think I have it? Can you look on the computers and find out when? And she looked it up, and it was like that old computer says no. She said, she looked on every type of name, and she said, nope, there's nothing on our system, which means you probably won't get it anything up to 3 to 6 weeks. She said, that's the way it goes. And I said, well, can you try this name? No, there is nothing there. You are not on our computer, which means you will not have anything from 3 to 6 weeks. And I said, but I can't. I've got this thing I'd really like to. I'm sorry, this is how it is. 3 to 6 weeks, that's it. Boom. End of story, hung up. And I thought, So I remember at the time going, well, okay, not meant to. And I thought, hang on a minute, do I really feel that? And I thought, no, I actually don't feel that. I feel like I can do this. And I thought, hang on, I've got the power to shift this. I can do something. So again, I guess I threw down the gauntlet, but I remember saying to Saint Germain and to any spirit, any angel, okay, I'm throwing this into your hands again, that if you want me to go on this trip, I willingly will, with all bells on. But this passport, you and I both know, has to be in my physical hands within the next 48 hours. So physicality says that's impossible. The girl at the passport office says that's impossible. Off you go. That's it. I'll leave it to you. Again, cut my ties, forgot about it, and then I kid you not, the next day at 10 a.m. my doorbell rang and I went to it. I opened it and there was a postman with a registered mail parcel, which he said, can you sign for this? And I just looked at him and thought, no. And I signed and I went inside and I just started laughing, and I opened it and there was my passport done. Now, you could say, errors in the system, errors in the computer, call it what you will, that's okay, I don't mind. But what I know in my heart was, this was a miracle. It was my miracle, and it was allowed because I changed all perception. I wasn't in fear. I had no thoughts about how it was going to happen, when it was going to happen, because truthfully, I wasn't attached because I didn't care. And then bang, it all turned up. I kid you not, the whole trip that continued was like that for me. It was such an eye-opening experience that everywhere I went, doors would just fly open because I just let them. I didn't fear anything. It was such a rite of passage for me through fear because I knew I just had to leave it behind. But the greatest example, like, I mean, there and back, it just didn't stop, but I'm not going to say it all. But the biggest thing was when I finally got to Denver, Colorado, and it was something like, I don't know, 36 hours of being awake by the time I'd got there. And it's a massive airport, international, if you've ever been there. Anyway, I got to the carousel, no bag. I was the only one left, no bag. I thought, oh, great, terrific, here we go. Even getting through customs, I had miracles. But anyway, I got there and went, well, this is great, I've got to catch the bus, what do I do, no bag. And I saw straight around, I turned around and there was the baggage collection. So I went in there, explained it, and I said, oh, you have to go and find it. I said, have you seen how big this place is? And he said, sorry lady, you've got to go and find it. And I thought, oh my God. And being exhausted, as I'm sure you've all done that's travelled, I stood outside that door. Again, I was just so nothing. I just thought, you know what? I can't be bothered. I'm too tired. I just can't do this. You're going to have to, if you want me to continue, you're going to have to bring me this bag again, or that's it. I'll just wait till I find it and I'll just pack up and go home. I don't care. Well, I kid you not, somebody stood there beside me from the other side, and again, I feel whichever angel or whoever it was, my guide, got my head, turned my head to the left, pushing it down, and right beside me, and I checked all these bags, I kid you not, maybe I was delirious, but I checked them all. There was my bag right beside me on my left-hand side. And I just went, laughed again and went, of course. Picked up the bag and off I went and got the bus. But I know it's hard to probably believe and understand at times, but when you've done this kind of thing, or when you've had these incredible moments of time where things just flow, it's just amazing. And once you start, it's like anything, you've got to practice, you've got to believe it, you've got to use it. But once you start, you never want to stop. And even on the weekend, I was just down in Sydney with my clan mother group, and on the Saturday it was funny because I woke up, I had a day planned, where I was going and who I was meeting and what line I was getting on the train, and then the next thing was when it all changed the night before, and I thought, oh, this is unusual, things have shifted around a bit, but I'll go with the flow. Didn't worry about that and stuck to what I felt. So I had to get to Bondi Station, and as I got to Bondi, I asked to be taken to a lift or to the escalator because I had a really heavy bag this time. And I did, and I got there, and there was all these stairs, and it's very deep down Bondi Station, but that's fine. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I looked around, there was a disabled ramp, perfect, so I took that and got down. So I got down, checked my Opal card, and I was just standing there thinking, I'll just get my bearings, and then I'll get the Illawarra line, which is what I had to go on. So as I'm standing there, and I looked around, and I saw who was around, and I didn't see this person. He just sort of turned up, and he said, can I help you? And I said, no, I'm okay, thanks. I'm just, doing my thing, and I'm just checking out where I'm at, and I'm heading to the platform. And he said, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to Sutherland on the Illawarra line. He said, oh, did you know there's track work? And I said, no. And he said, oh yeah, there's a lot of track work today. He said, you'll have to get off at either Central or Wooli, get buses, get back on, and then head to Sutherland. So there's a lot of detour and delay today. So it's up to you if you want to go that way. And I said, oh no, yuck, I don't want to do that. So I said, okay, I'll get to Central and I'll just change. I'll get the Padstow line. And he said, yeah, no worries. He said, oh, I'm glad that, I got to tell you. And I said, well, I'm glad that you came along. So that felt like straight away angel number one. So then I'm walking through to go to the platform. The man there says to me, there's other people walking through, but he says to me, whether I've got the suitcase, do you know where you're going? And I said, yeah, I've just spoken to so-and-so, and thank you, and I'm da-da-da-da-da, and I'm heading to Central, and I'm going to change. And he said, oh, well, you need platform 23. And I'd only literally just thought in my head, oh, I'll have to work out where I have to go when I get to Central because there's so many platforms. And here he is saying, you need 23. And I just smiled again and went, thank you. Angel number 2. So I get on the train, that's all good. I'm on the train, get off at Central, and as I get out and off the platform down, as soon as I turn the corner, there's platform 23. I said, thank you very much. And then just before I'm going up, I forgot they're all stairs heading up, the old stairs that I used to know, and thought, I had a bit of a long dress and thought, oh, well, this will be interesting, but if I'm meant to do this, I can. Otherwise, if you would like to send me someone that would love to help me, I'm more than open and gracious and, would be very, very grateful, thanks. So I've got up to about step 4, I get a tap on the shoulder. This big guy stands there and says, would you like me to carry your bag? And I just went, I most certainly would, thank you so much. And he's got his girlfriend. I said, is that okay with you? She said, yeah. So off we toddle, he's got my bag, he's bounding up the steps and I'm following up behind. He takes it half along the platform and he says, is that okay there? I said, absolutely, thank you so much. And I just sat there and thought, my goodness me, I mean, they might not seem much, and they might not seem in our modern day language a miracle. But these are the little miracles. You know, we can have the little miracles and we can make the bigger miracles and anywhere in between miracles. But the trick is, we've got to ask for the help, as I said. Now, the first rule of this earth plane is we are here for divine will, our divine will, free will zone, okay? Which means no one, no entity, no nothing beyond this earth plane is allowed to interfere with us. We statutorily declarated that upstairs, so to speak. We said, no, sign off, we are wondrous souls, let us do it, let us find our way, and step in only in absolute crises that we know that's not okay for our true divine purpose, as I said earlier. So we must ask. To gain the assistance, we have to ask. And like anything, we have to believe. Now this is the crux. You will not see or be able to change your perception to be able to see and witness any miracle or change of perception or alternate potential or reality unless you're willing to change your view, to change your belief, to change your perspective or perception. That's it. So as always, everything's a challenge to what you think and what you are truly believing, not here but back here. So we have to start here to get back to here. So as I said, we have to ask first. Second, we have to truly believe. Now we can keep coming in like any affirmation or belief. We can keep coming in, building it. If we fall down a little, we can keep rebuilding it, okay? But the other point here is that, again, the amount of times I wish I had money for every time I've had people say, I've asked and nothing happens. I have asked angels for this, 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 and this, and I never receive it. Why aren't you receiving it? First and foremost, you don't believe. Okay, on some level, you are sabotaging the belief that this can possibly take place, whether it's this big or this big. Okay, so again, look at that. If it's not happening, the next thing we must address is, where am I attached to the outcome? What have I got invested here? Am I saying, or am I being honest by saying I'm expecting it this way, that direction, how it's going to happen, how I think it should happen, who's going to bring it, who's involved, la la la, all those questions we have to ask, and we literally have to have nothing. Zero. That's what surrender is. Zero part of our energy investment still attached to the outcome. Okay, because as I've said to many, if you've asked but you're looking over in direction over here, you're always going to be delivered. It will always come. But if you're not looking in the direction of which it's coming from, then you can't see it. If you don't believe that it's possible, then you're not going to see it. It can't come. It's always there. And this is the beauty of dimensionality, multidimensionality. Everything's there on parallel layers and universes. Everything you want is there now. It's not there, it's there. But you can't see it because this and this aren't aligned and these can't perceive it. There is the block that is preventing you, the fog, the veil, the wall, the concrete wall even. Whatever it is that you are creating is the block as to what you can't see. But it doesn't mean it's not there. It's always there and it's always delivered. Because the heavens, the angels, the forces of being, the higher spirits, the guides, teachers, totems, whatever it is, they don't judge you. Only you judge you. So they don't withhold anything. The laws of energy won't allow that simple. Anyway, it simplistically cannot happen. So again, it's through our thinking, our consciousness energy that we are blocking whatever we really want. So why some people get it is because their vibration is holding the vibration to receive it. And they believe they can. Okay, again, so we look at that positive, negative type energy person. Those that are attracting and manifesting are the ones that say, yes, I can, yes, I will, yes, yes, yes. It's all positive solar plexus. It's getting their whole system, their vibration goes up, and so they're attracting at the highest level and bang, incoming. So we've got to address all the issues of why we're not, if we're not seeing what we truly want. And the biggest point too is when you want to ask for help or you want to manifest with them, is you've really got to know what you want. I know it sounds silly, but sometimes it's really hard to know what you want. So you've got to be very, very specific in the knowing, in the cells, that every cell of your being is saying, this is what I want. Any tiny little bit of doubt knocks it out. That's it. So again, you're in charge and responsible for that. No one else, no one upstairs, they're not a problem. Again, it's coming from here. The greater mind, what you know and what you don't know. But again, we must start with what we know to discover and work our way back to what's really happening in the subconscious and the unconscious. So that's a little bit just very quickly about the angels. So start asking and start again working on your consciousness of what's happening and just allow, step out of your own way and see what happens. It's amazing what you can make manifest for yourself, and it's getting faster and faster and faster now. But the other aspect to remember is that we do have, and a lot of people may not know about them, and that's okay, are our totems. Now we also have a spirit animal, and Native Americans and indigenous cultures tend to align themselves very closely to the totems. I do also, but they too are forms of spirit that are with us always. And again, we walk with some, they may change, and we may adjust our totems at the time. But the totems are wonderful because they're very subtle, and because it's nature spirits, okay, they deliver in a different way, not so much consciously. So they will deliver also, and you'll get messages. Again, if we're open, this is key, you've got to be open, and know how to look for them. So a lot of the ways that they will show you their signs, or the signs for you that you're asking for to guide you, to get you further along the path, or for knowing, are simply in the clouds. Clouds are fantastic to observe. Sorry, I'm just taking that off. I've got so much information and so many images from clouds at times. And again, it's take that first image, that gut feeling that you see or know. And it might be a bird, an animal. Lately I've been getting condor and phoenix a lot. The other time I've had elephants. I've had a whole range of picture clouds. And when I come back to my books or to my medicine cards, etc., and read, or even on the internet, they've always been exactly the right message for where I'm at in that moment of time. And they've guided me into the next phase. So be open to that. You may receive droppings of feathers, droppings of seeds. You may have birds land at your feet. You may have butterflies flying around you or land upon you. You may have the dragonfly who comes. You may have any animal, okay, who may present. Again, each animal, each flower, each plant actually has a medicine. So you can have your own research on whatever it is that you're attracted to or you're aligned to, or again, what feels right in your heart. Trust it. You are constantly being accessed by your higher self and by the entities of higher self around you. They are there non-stop 24/7, even in your dreams, your sleep. They will access you in every way possible that they can get your attention. All right? So the only way that you can actually be open to them and take witness and see what they're trying to deliver to you is if A, we said if you're open, but B, if you take the time and be still, okay, and trust what you feel. And so I know when I've had feathers drop before me and I've been walking with people, or, even my husband, and I go to pick it up, and it's amazing what other people and how we align, or we go into old patterns or fear. If I go to pick something up, oh, don't touch that. Oh, yuck, you don't know what's on that. What are you taking that for? Where that doesn't happen with me. I just pick up anything anyway. I don't care, because I know I've got the violet flame and I can transmute anything straight away. Don't forget it. So I pick up much along the beach, and I've sat on rocks, and I've just been drawn to sit on a rock or many rocks in the middle, and the next thing I'm crying, and I've had images of where there's been slaughter or issues of the past and the ancient that I've had to clear. Or I've sat on the beach and I watch the sand and the water, and I get messages from that very clearly. and messages about myself. I've sat on many times when I've been in angst and anguish about issues with the family, where the beach again's been huge for me because I've always received the answers that I want. But also I've gone with that willingness and being open to receive. And I will take whatever comes. So again, that willingness is saying, I surrender to what you deliver. Not saying, I'll take what I feel that I think I'd like. That's not surrender. Okay? And you will never find that, because that's a mental thing and it's coming from your ego always. Your heart is just saying, I haven't got a clue, open me to it. And usually something that you least expect presents, but then it makes the most profound aha moment. And that's how you'll know when you're receiving from either the totems, the spirits, however, your angelic guides, whatever it is. Now, can I also just say here too, I mentioned that sometimes the angelics change, the guides will change. Now, this is a really interesting phenomena because most people don't understand it and they don't realise when that's happening, and it can be very, very gracefully done, but sometimes it's not so graceful. So a lot of times when this changing of the guard, so to speak, takes place, if you think about it, you may have had some of these beings, these entities with you of light for many lifetimes. So this energy is so familiar to you. And even here in consciousness, there's this familiarity around the people, the energies, the knowing that you have of these blessed beings. The changing of the guard takes place when you've graduated. A lot of times when you've graduated and you've walked through your fears and rites of passage to a level that those guides that you've had with the old energies just aren't there at the highest level anymore, shift out to allow new energies and new guides and new entities around you that will support the higher vibration that you've now graduated into. Does that make sense? So during this shift, it's like any major time in your cellular life where there's change. It gets messy, it gets chaotic, it gets ugly, and in physical that can present as a very depressing time. You might feel very lost, isolated. It's like something's been ripped away, it's like someone's died. There's a death within you. And you don't understand, you can't explain it, it can be extremely overwhelming. If that happens to you, just somewhere in the background keep in mind that this may well be a changing of the guard that you may be having. If you know that you've been doing a lot of work and you know that you truthfully in here are rising and changing your energy structure and your belief structures, this may well be what's taking place while you feel so blah, okay? Now, it should be taking place a little bit faster now because, again, of the current energies that we're in. Everything's accelerating. But just always be kind to yourself no matter what. And just as I said, keep that somewhere in the background that may well be what's taking place in your being and around you in your whole etheric nature at that particular time. Simply take the time out, take the time you need, grieve, consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously, let go as best you can, give thanks, always speeds up the process of everything by giving thanks and gratitude, and then welcome in, if it's to be, surrender that to your higher self always. We can never go wrong when we're surrendering to our higher self. Ask your solar angel to come in and stand behind you, to support you with strength. It's almost like the Christ consciousness that stands behind you and just literally holds you out and gives you every inch of support and strength that you ever need when you call on your solar angel. Beautiful gold. So call in all the ways and beings and beings that you know of to assist you and maintain your skills of groundedness, protection, etc. to assist, and violet flame absolutely. But yeah, just simply rest it out. Rest and allow, and you'll find that everything shifts off quite quickly. If you're very sensitive and you're very conscious, then you may well be open and ready to receive and know who the new guides are, or you'll get the information in accordance to your divine plan. I think that's probably all I wanted to say, because I think it's been 45 minutes already. I wasn't intending to go that long. I hope it kind of makes sense. And if there's any questions for this, I'm happy to expand upon them. But I just kind of wanted to touch on where or not we can and how we can manifest with them, how to call to them. And no matter what, trust what you feel. Trust everything you feel and go with it. And just a little bit of an update. This week we're on another eclipse coming this Sunday. So we're in this portal at the moment where a lot of stuff's coming up for a lot of people. It might be very old stuff. It might feel very ancient again, memories, dreams, whatever. We're really being asked in this portal, this amazing gateway, to release the old and to release old stories. So in talking about what we believe, what we don't believe, let's let go beliefs that really don't serve us anymore. Things that are keeping us limited, stuck, they're not expanding us, and they're not bringing these incredible gifts that we have waiting for us. Really throw out these old stories. See everything that you don't want in your life now, that hasn't worked, isn't working, and you don't like, throw the story away of it. Throw the story attached to the people, the thoughts that you have about the people involved. See a completely different story of what the past was. Past is done. Past doesn't have to be created again. That's up to you if you choose to keep creating it and creating it and creating it. Let that go. Really consciously step into what you want to create, but you also have to be conscious of the thoughts and the actions that you're doing to warrant and make manifest the new. So you can't be having the new if you're still having the same thoughts about X, Y, and Z, or they're the way they are and that's not going to change. That's the old story, okay? Maybe it can change. You know, I don't know what the potential is here. I'm going to give it my utmost. You know, let's create big. I'm going to have this and I could have that and I'm going to try this and yeah, this is possible. Let's give it a go. That's your new story, okay? And watch when you're letting that old one creep in. Let it all go. Okay. All right. Well, I love you all and leave you all, and I hope that makes sense. Please leave any messages, any thoughts. As I said, I'm happy to expand, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Okay. Bye.